Welcome to the Risers Hub, your go-to podcast for personal growth and self-discovery. I'm Nicol Hodges, your host and coach, and I'm thrilled to be your companion on this transformative journey. In this safe space, we'll explore the nuances of becoming the best version of yourself. Whether you're seeking mental clarity, physical fitness, or a holistic life transformation, the Risers Hub is here to provide insights, guidance, and a touch of humor along the way. I authored Time to Rise, Get Fit, and Stay There, and my mission is simple: to help you unlock your true potential. No gimmicks, just practical wisdom, suggestions, and encouragement tailored to your unique path. So grab your favorite earplugs, beverage, munchies, and find a comfortable spot and join me on this adventure of self-discovery. This is the Risers Hub, where personal growth meets practicality and possibly a new you. Let's navigate this journey together, because I'm not perfect either. Let's go. Let's talk about stress, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things stress can bring. Let's talk about stress. Let's talk about stress. Yep, part 2. Let's talk about stress. Last week, I had a great conversation with Michelle Meeks, integrative and holistic coach, on how stress shows up, how stress can affect our bodies, that fight or flight mode, and what we can do to prevent stress. She also talked about being in that thriving state or a surviving state. I want you living in a thriving state. So the purpose of this podcast is to listen, take away something that sticks with you, and help you create a way to reduce stress in your life and push forward with your head up, your chest out, and ready to jump over any hurdle life puts in front of you. And of course, as a friend, I want you to stick to and reach your own personal goals. So you can't have stress in your life if you're trying to reach some goals, right? Also, I have an acronym for you at the end of this podcast to help you change the way you're thinking about stress. So let's get started. Welcome to the Risers Hub. Okay, so researching for this podcast, I was looking up some statistics, and it was interesting because, it's only the beginning of the year, so you're not going to really find anything for 2024, but you look back at 2023, maybe even 2022. But what was interesting is I found a list from 2020 by the American Psychological Association, and it's no different from the list that I found for 2023. So nearly 1 in 5 American adults say that their mental health has declined since last year. Stress has negatively affected their behavior, increased tension in their bodies, caused them to snap out of anger. I know a couple of those people. And caused unexpected mood swings. 65% of Americans surveyed said that the current uncertainty in the nation causes them to stress as well. Now, statistics are important because they remind us that we're not alone when it comes to stress, our mental health, or physical health. So, what do you do to manage your stress? Do you know what causes your stress? Do you recognize what your stressors are? Do you move, sit, slow down, or do you just fall into the stress and let it take over? As a coach, I'm here to help you understand what stress is, its causes, and provide strategies to manage and or cope with stress effectively. Here's a breakdown of what I will be sharing with you today. The first one is, what is stress? Number 2, let's talk about the types of stress. And I'm going to keep it simple. Number 3, the causes of stress. Number 4, the impact of stress. And number 5, coping with stress. And throughout the podcast, there will be people just like you and me sharing how they deal with stress. So let's get right into it.
When stress shows up in your life, how do you handle it? I think I go through a pretty general process that a lot of people go through. So I broke it down into steps, but it's not hard and fast. I would say first I acknowledge that I'm stressed out, take a little power away from it. Then I'll figure out exactly what it is, whether it's work, social life, state of the world, etc. Then I'll go through a process of talking about it with other people or just to myself. Looks a lot like complaining, but I think it's cathartic. It also takes power away again. And then from there, your two options, at least for me, are problem solving, working through a task if that's what's stressing me out, or doing small tasks to work up to it. And then for things that just like can't be solved, just having coping skills, finding healthy outlets like exercise, times with friends and family, massages, therapy, long drives, things that just like lessen the side effects of the stress and aren't related to the stress.
All right. So, a simple definition of stress is that stress is a natural and unavoidable part of life. It's the body's response to any demand or challenge, whether positive or negative. Stress can manifest in so many different ways, including physical, emotional, and mental. Okay, let's talk about positive stress. Another word for positive stress is eustress. This is the type of stress that can be motivating and energizing. And let me give you some examples: starting a new job, taking on a challenging project, or pursuing a personal goal. That is positive stress. This podcast you're listening to right now, for me, is positive stress. I get anxious about it. I get excited about it. I can't wait to share information about it. That is my positive stress. Negative stress, distress. This is the harmful type of stress that can have an adverse effect on your health and well being.
When I am dealing with compound stressors, which means there are many, many things that I'm stressed out across all areas of my life, I have a tendency to press pause. So that means I kind of freeze. I avoid, I retreat and pull back, and I don't know, kind of pretend like the stressors aren't happening until I'm ready to deal with them. And that has served me in the past, but it's not necessarily serving me in my big girl age. So we are working on that. Yeah.
Negative stress, distress. And do you really need me to give you some examples of that? All right, here they are: work related pressure, a relationship issue, financial worries, and maybe even a health concern. Those are real life stresses. And I'm sure that all of us have touched on one or two of those in our lifetime. And if we haven't, we may have to. And so it's all about how we're going to take care of these issues. And to me, that's why goals are extremely important. Other causes of stress can be from external factors and internal factors. External factors are what I just mentioned: work related issues, financial challenges, family problems, and some type of environmental factor that can contribute to your stress. Internal factors could be personal beliefs, attitudes, and thoughts that can also contribute to stress. Negative self talk and unrealistic expectations are examples. So that's why when I'm talking about setting goals, that's why I always talk about changing your negative talk to positive talk. Think of some affirmations or something that will motivate you to push forward. Unrealistic expectations need to be called out. And this is why when I talk about goals, goals need to be smart, specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and has a timestamp on it. And I'm going to always go back to that particular model of setting realistic goals because you don't want to set yourself up for failure. Now, let's talk about the impact of stress. The impact of stress can affect you physically, emotionally, or it can have a cognitive impact on you. Okay. So, stress can manifest in physical symptoms such as a headache, muscle tension, fatigue, and digestive issues. I have had maybe out of four of those. I've had muscle tension, fatigue, and digestive issues. And what do I do to take care of that stress? First, I have to be aware of it, I have to see the pattern. And then once I see the pattern and realize what it is, I talk to my doctor, I set up an appointment with my therapist, or I talk to what I call a safe person in my life to talk it out and hear a different point of view and come up with some solutions, excuse me, and then move forward. Emotional impact of stress. Stress can lead to feeling anxious, irritable, frustrated, and even depressed. This is when you need to talk to your safe people. You need to ask for help. You need to seek help because feeling anxious and irritable, if you don't take care of it right away, it's just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And I believe I talked about that before. If you don't take care of the symptoms now, it will manifest later and it can be even bigger. Even though you think that you've gotten over your stress and you didn't handle your stress, something can trigger you and make it bigger. So always go back and always be in that state and take care of it right then and there. Okay. Cognitive impact, difficulty concentrating, memory issues, and negative thought patterns can result from prolonged stress. So, if you can't take care of the physical and emotional stress right away, it will have a cognitive impact on you. Let me give you some examples. You're at work and you already have stresses that you brought into work, but you can't concentrate on what's right in front of you. You can't get the job done. So, your work is suffering. Having memory issues doesn't help because it's part of the concentration part. You can't concentrate, you can't remember what you have to do because you're so stressed out. And then also to those negative thought patterns, this is something I can attest to, even with this podcast. Now, earlier I said this podcast is a positive stressor, and it is. It's a very positive stressor. But then there are times where I question myself, like, why am I doing this podcast? Will I be able to provide the right information? And then I can start going down this hole that turns out to be negative thoughts. So when I see myself starting to spiral down into those negative thoughts, I stop myself, I slow myself down, I take a couple of deep breaths, and I ask myself, what can you provide on your podcast that's going to help someone about stress? Can you do it? And then I say, yes, of course I can, because I've come up with like 10 thoughts immediately when I think that. And then I start getting excited. And then I tell myself, you can do this. Even if you help one person out there, you've helped someone. And that is what makes me happy is when I can help one person out of 100. If I help one person, that makes me happy. So that's how I can move forward and tackle stress so it doesn't have that impact on me, those negative thought patterns on me. I'm going to push forward, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to provide the best information I can to the people who are listening. All right. So now we have talked about the definition of stress, the types of stress, the causes of stress, and the impact of stress. Now let's move into coping strategies that can help maintain your stress and help you reach your goals. Now, a lot of this stuff is going to sound like my self-care podcast because I'm going to start with being mindful and using relaxing techniques like deep breathing, meditation, yoga, and having quiet time. Some of you laugh at that because you're like, how am I going to do any of that? You can do it. If you're sitting at a desk right now or your chair, you can take 3 deep breaths, really long, deep breaths, and blow it out. It just changes your mental immediately because you are mindful of what you're doing. I always tell people just breathe all positive in and then blow all that negative out. Even if it's one positive thing in your life, if it's your pretty little doggy or your little baby, think about that positive thing and just, breathe it in and then blow it out. You can literally start there. Meditation is a great way to reset yourself. You can do some yoga. Take a yoga class, even if it's once a month, just to release some tension. For me, I got to do hot yoga because I just wanted to melt. I just wanted to melt away. Or if you are able to, have some quiet time. It could be in your bedroom. It could be at your desk with some earplugs in your ears. Give yourself this time. It's very, very important for you to release that stress immediately. Effective time management is a great way to also cope with your stress. You can review what has to be done for the week, the day, or the hour. Prioritize your responsibilities, okay? And then knock out the easy stuff first so you can focus on the hard stuff and give that hard stuff your full undivided attention. Let's go back to setting realistic goals. I'm a true believer in having smart goals because I want you to set yourself up for success. You're going to hear that 1,000 times from me if you're listening to this podcast. always set yourself up for success. So making sure your goals for the day, for the week, for the month and year are SMART goals. Again, specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and all the goals have a timestamp on it. Be realistic when it comes to your needs and your wants so you can navigate with clarity and purpose. You have to be very realistic and you have to be very clear on what you need and want. So when you bring people into your environment to help you set your goals, you're clear, you're precise, they know exactly where you stand with your boundaries, and you can move forward with such freedom. It gives you freedom. Always set yourself up for success. Here I go again, saying it again. Set boundaries. Remove the stressors if you can, and move in your own time and in your own way. What does that mean? Earlier, just a few minutes ago, I just talked about freedom. So when you're setting your boundaries and you remove the stressors, you can move in a way that's very freeing because you're moving in a way that's very authentic to you, that's going to work for you. If you start with yourself, everything else will follow suit. But you have to be true to yourself, you have to be clear, and you have to be smart with how you're moving forward.
When stress comes up, if I'm at work and stress comes up, I get up and take a lap around the office. If I'm at home, I either go out for a run or I do a session of yoga. Just the movement alone helps ease the stress.
Healthy lifestyle choices. Oh, this is a doozy because everybody doesn't want to hear I have to exercise for 30 to 60 minutes a day. Yes, you have to move. You have to move your body every single day for at least 30 to 60 minutes intentionally. Okay? Gardening, dancing, golfing, tennis, gym, running. There's so many things that you can do. So get moving. Okay? Next, a balanced diet. Michelle also mentioned that too, is eating the right food, having a lot of vegetables and fruits, making sure you have your carbs, your proteins, your healthy fats, and then half the plate should be fruit and vegetables. We're going to have a guest on a future podcast, and she's going to talk specifically about having a balanced diet. And then good sleep. Michelle talked about that, and I even was laughing about it, but it's not funny. You really do need good sleep. You need at least 8 to 9 hours of sleep. And it's different for different age groups. I get excited because I get 7 hours of sleep. I had actually 8 hours of sleep last night. Woohoo! Congratulations to me. I do celebrate every time I get a really good sleep because a good sleep can really help set up your next day. You feel good, you feel rested, you feel like you can conquer the world. So try and get good sleep. This one's an interesting one. Communication skills. Think about how you communicate with other people. Are you clear and precise on what you need and what you want? Are you making sure there is nothing to question? And do you understand what's going on around you? Are you being passive aggressive or are you being too aggressive? Or are you clearly communicating with the people around you? Developing healthy relationships help to reduce the stories that are going on in your head. If you're just being your authentic self and you're being very clear on what you want, then you can talk to the person across from you and you can get what you want. You can reach your goals in the most effective way. Back to positive self-talk. Change the way you are thinking immediately. This is a form of cognitive therapy, and that's a whole nother podcast with a professional to explain it to us. But it's very important to talk to yourself in a way that you would talk to someone that you love. Think about someone that you admire, someone that you love, and how would you talk to them? Because 9 times out of 10, I guarantee you that you're probably going to talk to them in a much better way than you would talk to yourself. When you wake up in the morning and you look at yourself in the mirror, yes, you woke up like that. Good or bad or indifferent, okay? But that doesn't mean that should define your entire day. Tell yourself that you're beautiful. Tell yourself that you're capable. Tell yourself that you can move forward. Tell yourself that you're strong. Tell yourself that you're healthy. Tell yourself, looking in the mirror, use your name and get those positive thoughts in your head. Okay? Take away the negative immediately. Give yourself grace and understand that making mistakes, listen to this very carefully because I remember when I first heard this, it really changed the way that I started to move forward. So, making a mistake is a learning experience. It's not a mistake. I don't care what Sally Sue or Tommy Joe or whoever tells you, you made a mistake and you're this and you're that and blah, 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 blah. No, you made a mistake. Understand how the mistake was made and then take responsibility and then learn from it and move on. Do not concern yourself with what other people are saying. You learned something that day. Move forward. Okay? Don't worry about what others think. You are serving yourself in a positive way by learning, changing the way that you think, and giving yourself grace. And the last thing I'm going to suggest is to stay in an optimistic state because at the end of the day, none of us knows what's going to happen to us in the next 5 minutes, the next hour, the next 24 hours, the next 48, 72 week. We don't know what's going to happen. So stay optimistic and continue to talk to yourself in the most positive way. So before we get to the stress acronym, I want to talk about one more thing, and that is seeking support. When you're stressed, when you're having a moment of doubt, I really believe in having safe people around you. What are safe people? These are people that you can truly be yourself with. They want to see you win. They understand when you have moments of doubt or if you're stressed and it's slowing you down. They will be there for you for whatever you need. There's no question. We all need safe people in our life, whether it's one or two people or if it's a group of people. Find your safe group, okay? Let them know that you're struggling. Let them know that you're a little stressed. Let them talk to you about ways that you can handle it so you can think a little bit differently or you can, get some clarity in what you're dealing with or just be with them. They just want you to be happy, so just be with them and fill your cup with their love. That's having safe people in your life. The other way of seeking support, of course, is going to your doctor if it's physically and mentally affecting you. Talk to your doctor about it. Talk to a therapist about it. Talk to a health practitioner about it. Seek help and don't be ashamed of seeking help. That's also giving yourself grace. All right? All right, let's get to this acronym because stress is it's stressful. Okay. So stress, let's talk about this acronym stress. It's gonna help you think about, okay, Nicole said the word stress means this. Okay. That's how I want you to think. All right. So S is for slow down. Slow down. Don't let stress take over. T is for talk positively to yourself. Talk good thoughts into your head. Talk to yourself in the most positive way. R is for rest. Rest and relax. Let your body chill out. Let your mind chill out. Go back to that meditation and that deep breathing. Rest. E is for exercise. Move your body. 30 to 60 minutes a day. S, again, self-care. Always take care of yourself first so everybody else around you can benefit from your self-care. And the last S, and this is a trick for your brain and a choice to be happy. Smile. Simply smile. Wake up in the morning, look at yourself in the mirror. I don't care what you see in that mirror, smile. I guarantee if you smile at yourself in the mirror, you're going to start laughing. And then when you start laughing, it's just going to set up your whole day. So thank you so much for listening to this podcast. Thank you for your support. Please like and share this podcast. I really appreciate your time. I'm so happy that you're here. I'm really excited about some upcoming guests that are coming in February and March. So please stay tuned. If you have any ideas for this show, please send us an email. Go to www.therisershub.com and shoot us an email saying, hey, I have questions about this. I have questions about that. And I will find the answers. Again, have a great day. Don't forget that acronym for stress. Smile, laugh, and until next time, thank you for listening to the Risers Hub. Rising Hearts is an Indigenous-led organization elevating Indigenous voices and fosters intersectional growth through organizing and programming. Starting March 2nd through the 10th, Rising Hearts will have their 4th annual Running on Native Lands virtual or in-person event. It's a great way to connect with your community, learn more about Native lands, and connect with the land that surrounds you. For more information and to sign up, go to elitefeats.com, click on upcoming events, or search for Rising Hearts. It will pop right up. Sign up to make a difference in your community by connecting with the land. To learn more, follow Rising Hearts on Instagram or check out their website at risinghearts.org. Hey, thanks again for tuning in. Remember, this podcast is for educational and entertainment purposes only. I am not a licensed therapist, so it is crucial to consult your physician, psychotherapist, or qualified health professional for personalized advice. Hey, also, if you're enjoying this podcast, I would like to ask you to please subscribe, like, and share. At least that's what they told me to say at the end of this podcast. Can you hook me up? Thanks. Bye.